Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three wide open threes in the first half. Overall, Coach said in the locker room, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game.
Did you see what happened to Caitlin Clark? She got poked in the eye during a playoff game. No foul called. Her vision was messed up. But here's the crazy part. She kept playing. You won't believe what she said about it after. Picture this. It's a high-stakes playoff game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun. The tension is through the roof. Suddenly, bam, Clark takes a finger to the eye. The crowd gasps. Everyone's holding their breath. But the refs? They just let it slide. No whistle, no foul. You know what's even crazier? Fans went nuts. Even Dave Portnoy was yelling at his TV. Clark's squinting, blinking like crazy. Her team's looking worried. Will she sit out? Can she even see the hoop? But what Clark did next? That's where things get really interesting. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Clark's next move defied all expectations. Think about it, most players would be benched after an eye injury. But Clark? She had other plans. Her choice in that moment revealed more about her character than any highlight reel ever could. You'd expect a player with an eye injury to sit out, right? Not Caitlin Clark. She shocked everyone by staying in the game. That's right, even with her vision compromised, Clark decided to keep playing. Talk about gutsy. On the court, it was clear Clark was struggling. She was squinting and blinking like crazy, trying to focus on the hoop.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
It looked painful and you could tell her shooting was off. But here's the thing, she didn't give up. The stats don't lie. Clark had her worst shooting performance in months. We're talking 23.5% overall and only 18.2% from three-point range. For a player of her caliber, those numbers are way below average. But that's not the whole story. Even when her shots weren't falling, Clark found other ways to contribute.
I felt like my shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. That's what sucks about it, but like I said, I'm proud of our team. We didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of, but even that to the side, we're capable of winning this game without making shots. Our defense could have been a little bit better. We were down 8 or something, maybe 11 going into the fourth. We had our chances. I felt like I said, we didn't play well. We didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing.
She dished out 8 assists in 36 minutes of play. Think about that, over a third of the game, and she's still setting up her teammates for success. That's the kind of player every coach dreams of having on their team. You know what's really impressive? Clark's determination to stay on the court. She could have easily called it quits, used the injury as an excuse. But nope, not her style. She stuck it out, fought through the discomfort, and kept pushing. This decision shows what Clark is made of. It's not just about talent, it's about heart, grit, and leadership. When the going got tough, Clark got tougher. She showed that even on her worst shooting night, she could still make a difference. Now, picture this. You just had your worst shooting night in months, with an eye injury to boot. How would you react? Clark's response to reporters was anything but expected. It's a lesson in mental toughness that'll make your jaw drop. When the game ended, everyone was waiting to hear what Clark would say.
I think, they were going to make adjustments. They were going to change up their schemes. They were going to change the matchups. We had talked about getting back matchups that we wanted, that we thought would be helpful for us. And that's going to make a huge difference. And, the first 3 quarters we battled. I think we got rattled in the third a little bit when they started they hit some shots. But then we kept making shots, and then we really, that fourth quarter, we stopped scoring. And I'm pretty sure, like Caitlin said, when we go back and look, there were some wide open shots that would have given us even more assists right there. So, whatever matchup they come with, I still think we had some good looks. We just have to do a better job of hit 50 points in the paint.
Would she blame the eye poke? Make excuses about her vision? Nope, not even close. Clark shocked everyone with her honest and humble response. Here's what she said. "I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down." Can you believe that? No excuses, no complaints, just pure accountability. That's the kind of attitude that separates the good players from the great ones. But wait, there's more. Clark didn't stop there. She didn't shy away from addressing the game's challenges. She straight up said, "The flow of the game was really bad. We struggled to get stops at times." Talk about taking responsibility. She's not just thinking about her own performance, she's looking at the big picture. You know what's really impressive? Clark didn't blame the refs or her injury for how things went down. Some players might have thrown a fit about the missed call on that eye poke. Not Clark. She kept it real, saying, "It is what it is. I felt like we just played a crappy game." That's the kind of honesty you don't see every day in pro sports. Let's talk about what this means. Clark's response shows she's got a growth mindset. Instead of making excuses, she's looking at what she can learn and improve. That's huge in high-pressure situations like playoff games. It's not just about talent, it's about how you handle the tough moments. Think about it. How many players would own up to a bad game like that? Clark's not just any player. She's showing real leadership here. She's taking the heat, protecting her teammates, and setting an example for everyone watching. You might be wondering, how does this compare to other players? Well, let me tell you, it's rare. Some players might blame injuries, refs, or teammates. But Clark, she's taking it all on her shoulders. That's the kind of attitude that builds championship teams. Clark's handling of that tough game was stellar. But let's zoom out for a second. What if I told you her presence alone is causing a seismic shift in women's basketball? The numbers are in, and they're absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking record-breaking viewership, folks. Clark's game against the Seattle Storm? It drew a whopping 2.23 million viewers. That's not just good, that's one of the most watched games in WNBA history. And it doesn't stop there. Remember that matchup against the Phoenix Mercury? Average viewership hit 1.22 million. That's a 324% increase over Ion's prior season average. Clark isn't just playing the game, she's changing the game. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's impact goes beyond just her own games. The WNBA is having a record-breaking season, with 19-game windows surpassing 1 million viewers. And guess what? Most of those featured Clark and the Fever. Coincidence? I think not. Let's talk about Clark's on-court success. She's not just drawing eyeballs, she's setting records. Clark now holds the WNBA rookie assist record. That's right, she's not just scoring, she's making her whole team better. Now, you might be thinking, okay, she's good, but what about the drama? Well, let me tell you about Clark's rivalry with Angel Reese. It's not just about basketball, it's sparking conversations about race and fandom in women's basketball. These two are the talk of the town, and they're bringing new attention to the league. But here's what really sets Clark apart. When Reese went down with a season-ending injury, Clark didn't gloat. Instead, she said, "It's definitely sad anytime you see anyone go down with an injury." That's class, folks. That's sportsmanship. And get this, Clark's got a sense of humor about injuries too. After an ankle scare, she joked about looking soft. That's the kind of attitude that keeps fans coming back for more. She's not just a player, she's a personality. The WNBA is riding high on this Clark-Reese rivalry. It's bringing new eyes to the sport, new fans to the stands. Clark's charisma, her competitive spirit, it's drawing people in who've never watched women's basketball before. Let's talk about the big lesson from Clark's eye poke drama. It's not just about how many points you score or assists you dish out. Sometimes it's all about how you handle the tough moments. Clark showed us that true leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about pushing through when things get rough. Think about it. What would you do if you got poked in the eye during the biggest game of your life? Would you keep playing like Clark, or would you sit it out? It's not an easy call, right? But that's what separates the good from the great. Clark's response is something we can all learn from. Next time life throws you a curveball, remember Clark's grit. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about how you face them head on.